I have to say, Kia really understands what makes a good family car. And a good family car is not just does it have space. A good family car is also, do you want to drive it and take it places, go on adventures, make excuses to go driving? Or do you shy away from the trip? The EV9 is an example of this. The Carnival is another example of this. I've just spent the last 24 hours, almost exactly, with this Carnival. I rented a minivan because I was doing some moving, and minivans reign supreme when it comes to space. But I ended up being reminded of how minivans have advantages over many SUVs, many three-row SUVs in the market in terms of how they move across the road, how they, I hate to use the phrase, but more grounded to the ground. Less focus on ground clearance, less focus on macho looks, and more focus on packaging, more focusing on like the driving experience, ride motions. This Carnival, there's something back there jiggling and rattling. That's my fault. That's not the car. That's something I'm transporting. But this car is drum tight. The suspension has enough composure that I enjoy driving it, whether it's full or empty. I had this thing stuffed to the gills, kept forgetting that I had it jam-packed full of stuff until I would look in the rearview mirror and see the boxes behind me. But like many Hyundai Kia products that I've had really ever since the Theta engine came out back in, I want to say 2006 or so, just a really zingy, singy transmission with, engine with a transmission that allows it to zing and to sing. Um, really, they've had a long history of really enjoyable V6s, and this is no exception to that. But another thing I'm reminded of is the steering feel and weight on this thing. Now, this being a rental with 5,500 miles on it, who knows how many curbs and potholes it's clobbered. But regardless, I never wanted for a different tiller. There was never a situation that I was like, oh, I wish the rack was faster. Oh, I wish it had more feel. I wish the weighting was different. I wish. This happens a lot with modern power steerings, and it did not happen in the last 24 hours and maybe 300 miles with this car. I also find the ergonomics to be pretty solid. I'm in the minority here, but I really like the Kia approach to this panel. I know that it got a lot of criticism from the critics, but that's their jobs. And I find that their jobs are largely useless when it comes to vehicle reviews, especially when it comes to HMI stuff. HMI is something, a bit of a language. It's like going from a PC to a Mac. Are you going to feel comfortable the first day? No, of course not. Are you going to get used to it? Are you going to grow to like the way it works? Possibly. I like the way this works. I like the fact that you can switch between the two systems. But then again, I have an E39, and so I'm used to this type of a setup, and I have come to appreciate it quite a bit. In a world that says, oh, buttons are great and screens are bad, and there's this fight between the bean counters and the ergonomicists, I think this is a really clever approach. I think it works. What else? Man, I had a choice between an Odyssey and this and a Sienna. I've driven the Odyssey extensively. I've driven the Sienna quite a bit. The hybrid Sienna was a temptation, I would say, but it didn't have nearly as much space. And it didn't have this sing-song V6 that I I knew I'd be paying more in fuel. I'm getting just over 20 miles per gallon on this unit, I'd say, on the overall. But I also knew that I was likely to enjoy getting the chance to spend time with a V6 in an era and an age when V6s that are naturally aspirated are increasingly difficult to come by. So enjoy them while you can was my philosophy, and I'm glad that I did so. I also found, I'm not going to say this is a driver's car, but I do wonder if this has not become the driver's car in this segment. Remember when Toyota said swagger wagon? I feel like this thing has a bit of swagger to it. From a styling standpoint, I don't feel embarrassed being in this thing. When I walk up to it or walk away from it, despite the fact that it's in refrigerator white, I find it attractive. I always have. I like the proportions. I like the fact that they've given the minivan some stance, some presence, some boldness, some blockiness, because a lot of the minivans have this MPV approach that is fine and it has its advantages, but from a driving position standpoint and a visibility standpoint and an appearance standpoint, I really like this humble box that allows you to just go about your business, transport people and things as you see fit. Do I wish for better fuel economy? Yeah, of course I do. I wish it had a downsized V6 with maybe some hybridization. That would be nice. But other than that, add that and some all-wheel drive and you got yourself a real lifelong partner kind of car. I found myself thinking, man, this car has only 5,000 miles on it. I wish I had it for a week so I could put some serious miles on it and go places with it, take family with me, move things here, there, and everywhere. Just a great car. I'm not a fan of Kia products, especially their non-EV products, or even some of their EV products. But I'd say this and the EV9 make a really solid case for themselves. As I said from the top, if you're looking for something for the family, definitely stop by a Kia dealership and take a look at those two models, because I continue to be convinced that they're among the better people movers on the market. I hope you find this helpful if you are in market. I'm definitely not making a polished review by any means here, but I thought it would be nice to share thoughts after having spent some time with this car, because I think a lot of times when people are shopping, they go Honda, Toyota, Honda, Toyota. Of course, on the resale side of things, Honda and Toyota are still going to be your winners, but one of these with just a few gentle family miles on it, could see it being a pretty great option to just use that 100,000 mile powertrain warranty peace of mind and rack up some big miles and just have this be the beast of burden, but not feel burdened about driving it. I think that's probably the tagline. It's a beast of burden that you don't feel is a burden to drive. And those are rare. So celebrate them, drive them, embrace them, enjoy them, and laud them as often as you can. Let me know what you're in the market for. Let me know what you'd like to see more of from this channel. If you've made it thus far on my videos or this video, I really appreciate the support. I know this is a long-winded stream of consciousness approach to evaluating vehicles, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the way we experience them. So I've decided to cut out all the smoke and mirrors of production values and people who are trying to be characters or be funny, and just level with you and tell you what the car is like to drive and to live with. If you appreciate that approach, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.